on the Texas A&M Sports Network. Welcome to the Aggie Soccer Hour with Coach G, live from Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue on Harvey Road in College Station. Brought to you by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. Visit rudys.com to find real Texas barbecue near you. Now, the Aggie Soccer Hour with Coach G.
Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Aggie Soccer Hour with Texas A&M head coach G Guerrieri. I'm David Ellis. Glad you are with us tonight. If you're out and about trying to sort out what you're going to do for dinner, Rudy's has got you fixed up. Come on over here. They've been cooking all day, and they still are, and it is the best barbecue in town. So come on out to Rudy's and enjoy some of their barbecue. It's a big week coming up in Aggie Land this week for Texas A&M soccer, as it is the Cotton Holdings Lone Star Showdown matchup coming up on Thursday night at Ellis Field at 7 o'clock as the Aggies take on that team from about 100 miles east of here, over there west in the state capital, west of here, excuse me.
East.
I had the map upside down.
Oh, that's right. Okay, there you go. I see.
So, yeah, if you turn it around, it works out. So this is not a great way to start off the show, is it?
It's okay.
But it's by the way,
we made it through September. It's October,
yes,
so we're off to a good start.
And I need to tell you, from property restoration to workforce housing solutions, the Cotton Companies offer turnkey disaster recovery services for businesses around the world. You can learn more about Cotton and the Lone Star Showdown rivalry being restored at cottonlss.com. Cotton is proud to be a partner with your fighting Texas Aggies. The Aggies went on the road and took on the Tennessee Volunteers, 5th ranked in the country and number 2 in the country in terms of RPI, and dropped a close one, 1-0 to the Volunteers up in Knoxville last Friday. And it was a game where Texas A&M outplayed Tennessee. I thought outshot Tennessee, had more shots on goal, more corner kicks, etc. We hit the crossbar once. We missed 2 goals. I mean, combined maybe 8 inches outside the goal. It was one of those. We just didn't. I don't mean to make it sound like they was lucky, but we had chances and didn't finish them. And they had one chance and finished theirs just inside the corner of the net.
And actually, a good finish, because
it wasn't
even a real. It was a half chance, and that she hit a first-time sliding ball that somehow went through the legs of one of our defenders, and then found the side netting on the far post. And it's soccer. Sometimes that happens. But it's a second game against a team ranked in the top 7. Because similar situation last Sunday against Arkansas here in College Station, and where it's just I know players get frustrated, the fans are frustrated because the team we've gotten better every single game, and we're so darn close. It just happens that we played 3 teams in the top 7 in the last couple weeks, and 5 teams that are all ranked. So it is what it is. So we've got to, we're that close now. We've just got to, as a Bum Phillips used to say, just got to kick the door in that one time.
Yep, it's very true. You look at what the past results. We were talking about Tennessee being number 2 in the RPI and dropping the 1-0 decision to them. The Aggies dropped a 2-1 decision on the road against TCU. They're ranked 5th in RPI. Baylor had a 1-1 draw against Baylor, and they're ranked 9th in RPI. You mentioned Arkansas. They're ranked 23rd. So, I mean, the Aggies have been close in all of these games, and it's just that final 6 yards, 8 yards, 10 yards, whatever it happens to be.
But it's one of those deals where we're not packing it in. We're not like we're not. What I mean by packing it in is not like giving up, because Aggies don't give up. But we're not packing it in like we're just parking the bus in front of the goal and hoping for some sort of miracle to happen. The team has done really well in creating some chances. I think that we've been better in our organization in the final third, but it has to continue on that pathway, because you've got two. You're going to play 2 games this week. Thursday at home against the Longhorns, and then get on the road bus up to Oklahoma to play the Sooners, who are, those are both really athletic teams. They're really, really well coached. They're organized, and there's no gimmies in this league. So you've got to continue your positive steps forward to, like I said, break through. And we're so darn close. That's the big thing.
Well, yeah, exactly. And if you've watched the Aggies play, you know that they are absolutely giving everything they've got, and it's just a matter of just getting that final shot in that final third to score. And this would be a really good time to do it. Number one,
yeah, I think so.
It's against Texas. The Aggies are 21-7-2 all time against Texas, and 10-1 against University of Texas here at Ellis Field. So
it's kind of rare that we get to play them at Ellis Field. I thought that was a glitch in the schedule, that the SEC actually allowed us to play them at our place.
Yes,
we played them. The last 3 times we've played them in the regular season over the last 15 years have all been away. So it's been it'll be nice to get them in front of the 12th man. It'll be great to have the 12th man out there in general, and just kind of we've had a couple of really good training sessions this week, and got one more to go, do one more sleep to go before the big match tomorrow night.
Yep,
7 o'clock.
At 7 o'clock at Ellis Field. Game will be on the SEC network. Jeff Given and I, my broadcast partner, usually on the television side of things, he and I will be doing radio tomorrow night, and so you can turn the TV down and listen to Jeff and I. That'll be on Willie 1550. The pregame show starts at 6:45, and if you're not in the Bryan College Station area, you'll be able to listen on your 12th Man mobile app wherever you are on the planet. So, again, pregame show starts at 6:45. Game time is at 7 o'clock. On Willie 1550 against the Longhorns tomorrow night. And, and the game time, by the way, on Sunday in Norman against OU is at 2 o'clock. We'll be on the air again, Willie 1550 at 1:45, 15 minutes before game time. We'll have that broadcast as well. And again, your Texax mobile app if you're out of town. So 2 big games coming up, and these are big games, not just for Texas A&M, but it's a huge game for the University of Texas in terms of the SEC tournament seeding. It's a huge game for Oklahoma for the same reason.
That's right.
It's getting to be that time of the year where those kind of things count. They're just very, very important. And so
it's a chance for us. It's a chance for us that if we can win both of these games, that we automatically moved up to the upper half of the standings, and
exactly.
It's that important. Our opponents are looking at it the same way. The other thing too is that both of these games, and this is what I would suggest to folks, because this is what we started doing at our house for not so much for soccer games, because I tend to be at those games, but for Aggie football, for example, is we'll turn on the app and listen to Andrew Monaco and all of his great work on describing games. We'll turn on the ESPN feed and then just kind of mute the television feed. We have to stop and start a couple times to get a little bit synced up so that his descriptions are going along with what's going on. But I would suggest the same thing. Both of these games, the game on Thursday is going to be on the SEC network, so it's on linear television. And then the game on Sunday will be on ESPN Plus. But you can watch both of them on through your ESPN app on Apple Television. So I strongly suggest, just because you'll get a lot more. The people who are doing the games, have Marion Crowder and Jonathan Yardley will be the television people for Thursday, and we give them information, but they don't know the information like you and Thomas do, and the inside behind the scenes stuff that can tell a lot about the players and how they're doing. So again, that's my plug for that. I don't have an official sync up your TV app or anything, but I think if I can do it, you can do it.
I'm the same way. All right, I need to tell you right now that first of all, it's your generosity out there, 12th Man Foundation donors Because of that, Aggie student athletes have the resources to succeed at Texas A&M and beyond. You need to start your tradition of support at 12thmanfoundation.com. Once again, 12thmanfoundation.com. Help support Texas A&M athletics and athletes. All right, we're going to have our guest, first of a couple of guests coming up. Lucy Landherr and Kat Campbell are going to join us up here in this next segment. We're going to get to that in just a little bit. Right after this, you're listening to the Aggie Soccer Hour. Welcome back to the Aggie Soccer Hour here live at Rudy's Barbecue on Harvey Road. I'm David Ellis. Alongside, down at the far end of the table, is Texas A&M head coach G Guerrieri, and we've got two players, as we normally do. To my immediate left is Lucy Landherr, freshman from Chino Hills, California, and to her left is Kat Campbell from Frisco, Texas, just up north. I get my directions right here toward the top of the map as far as Texas is concerned. And both of these players have made major contributions to Aggie soccer so far this year. Both of them have appeared in all 11 games. Kat kind of at sort of a holding mid type position in the middle of the field, sort of a six type position, and Lucy back on the back line some, and then also when we're kind of with a 5-back shape, more like a wing back, and you're up in the attack. So they have made, like I say, major contributions. And Lucy, her minutes just continued to pick up. Kat, I just learned a while ago that both of your parents went to the University of Texas. Is that right?
Yes, sir. So big week for us.
Yes, it is. I can imagine. So is there a little talking of smack that goes on in the family?
Yeah, we keep it very friendly, but it's definitely been fun. We always joke they're the biggest Aggie soccer fans. Not much Aggie anything else, but biggest Aggie soccer fans. But no, they'll be rooting for Maroon this week. But it's been fun.
Good. And Lucy, you have some of both, right, in your family?
Small division, yep. We've got some Texas fans and some Aggies, but we get them wearing the maroon and white at my game, so that's all that matters.
All right, that's good. So one of the things, we had a question here, and it's really written for Coach G, but I think I'm going to ask you guys. So particularly, Kat, having been around, we've got a lot of new players from a lot of different places in the country. Have they been advised that we do not like the University of Texas? Do they understand this rivalry?
They do, and this week she's done a little bit of a Texas Hate Week slideshow that's been really fun.
No, it's all in love. It's all love.
Yeah. So everyone's been getting caught up to date on the rivalry, so it's
good,
been fun.
Because for those of us who are a little bit older, this goes back a long way, and so it's good to see. I had this. I'm kind of one of those guys that's going, yeah, I miss playing them. I don't miss having to be around them, but I miss playing them, and so it's good that they've got a little bit of the background on this. So and so Lucy, you again came to Texas A&M from California. Are you kind of aware of the sort of the history here? Did you learn part of that from some of your family members who were Aggies?
I sure did. We've spent a lot of Thanksgivings here in Texas, so that means we've got games on in the background and rivalry in the household. But learning my past history and going back over a couple hundred years has been cool.
It hasn't been a couple of hundred years.
What year did we go back to?
We went back to 1871.
Okay.
200?
No, that's
under
not
200.
And Lucy's not a math major.
I was going to say, what did I have my notes here? What's your major?
Accounting, maybe. I don't know. Hope not.
All right. So both of you guys, you've been, as I mentioned, such integral parts of this team all season long, and it's been. The Aggies have had some frustrating losses to deal with. And Kat, what have the players talked about in that regard, and making sure that they understand how close they are to being where they want to be?
I think the biggest thing is just trying to stay positive. Yes, we've had a lot of frustrating results, but it's never been a question of effort. And I think just really trusting in the process and the preparation that we've had, and just kind of picking each other up after those losses. I think we've done a great job of that, and just kind of stay positive. We have great opportunity on Thursday at home, and another great opportunity on Sunday to kind of turn things around. So just keep reminding ourselves that we have chances and to stay positive.
So, Lizzie, what have y'all been working on practice this week in terms of, I mean, not so much the physical side of things, but the sort of the mental side of things?
I think absolutely what Kat said. We're overdue for some goals and some wins. We've really put in the effort this spring and this fall, and the results haven't quite showed our hard work and effort. So I'm hoping that we'll turn that around and flip the script this week.
You take a lot of the corner, when you're out on the pitch, you take a lot of the corner kicks. Talk about that a little bit. I mean, I think a lot of more casual soccer fans think that you're just trying to put the ball out there somewhere. But that's not really the case at all, right?
No, sir. There's a lot of tactics behind it, and we spend quite a bit of time working on them. There's a lot that goes into it, where we place the ball, where we're making our runs. We work on the tactical side of our opposing defense and how that's going to play into what we're choosing to do. So we have I think probably 6 or 7 corners that we've worked on throughout this semester, and we rotate and use all of them. A lot of tactics behind it.
So, Kat, from your perspective, you play kind of in the middle of the pitch, and it can get really physical out there. I mean, and I think I've mentioned this before, and so some of you may heard this before, but I don't think people realize the kind of athletes that you have out on the soccer field, where not so much in the middle of the pitch, but those on the outside may run during the course of a game 6.5, 7.5 miles during the course of a game. You have to be an incredible athlete. When you get to this point in the season, and you've been doing this now for 11 games already, what do you do to try to take care of your body between games?
Yeah, I think recovery is huge. I think it really helps. Like, I know, like, Bella is, like, she plays the 6 too. Like, we both love it. Like, we love the running. We love the, like, physical demand of, like, the position that we play. So, just, like, your typical things, like getting in the ice bath, getting recovery, and after games, just kind of making sure we're taking care of our bodies.
I mean, and it's not just, and by the way, in the next segment, we're going to have Gerald Pena up here, who is the strength and conditioning coach for Texas A&M soccer. So this kind of feeds into that. But are you guys between games? I mean, you've got nutrition to worry about, Lucy. You've got physical recovery. What is it kind of like for you as a player? What are you trying to do during that time?
Yeah, I think the transition from high school into college has been a huge adjustment, but we're so blessed here with the resources and how well taken care of we are. We have a nutritionist that we work with. We have a massage therapist and an amazing athletic trainer that makes sure we're all up to par. So sleep, recovery, everything, we're on it. Any day or any time we're off the field, we're still working towards getting ourselves ready for when we're on the field.
So are you one of those that uses the ice bath after the game?
Yes, sir.
I don't know if there's enough money in the world to get me there. This is literally a huge tub with crushed ice in it and cold water, and then they get in it after the game.
We do some crazy recovery tactics with needling and cupping and
Okay, what is cupping? Explain that, because folks are not going to know what that means.
Cupping, I get it a lot of times on my calves when it's super tight and it suctions into little cups looking, and it releases your muscles, I think, a little bit. I don't know if I know the science.
They're like suction cups, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and they'll bruise up pretty good, but it does help relieve pain and soreness.
Yeah, they look like you've been whacked like a tennis ball.
Got big bubbles on your
or hugged by a big octopus.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great example. But that really helps, right?
Yes. Got to stack all the tactics to recover.
Yeah, I love soccer, and I love to watch you guys playing soccer. I loved playing baseball, but I don't know if I loved it enough to get into an ice bath. I just don't know that I can do that. But all right, well, listen, both of you guys, we appreciate y'all taking time to come out and visit with us tonight, and all the best tomorrow night, and bring home the Aggies a win against the T-Sips.
Well, thank you so much for having us. We're so
us.
excited to beat the hell out of Texas.
Absolutely. Lucy, Landherr, Kat Campbell, thanks for coming out, ladies.
Thank you.
Good job, ladies. Well done. Thank you.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back right after this. You're listening to the Aggie Soccer Hour.
Was that?
All righty, we are back at the Aggie Soccer Hour. Rudy's Barbecue on Harvey Road. Texas A&M head coach G Guerrieri is here. And you know what? Always during the second segment, those of you who listen to the show or come out here to Rudy's, we always get one of the players to read the Rudy's Barbecue promo. And I forgot to do that. And so, you know, we always try to get one of the freshmen to do it. And so Lucy Landherr is going to read this here tonight. She's reading this so that she can go eat.
I'm honored.
Don't read this well, and you're going to have to go eat somewhere else. So anyway, so Lucy, are you ready?
I'm so ready.
All right, let's do it.
Soccer and barbecue lovers know the perfect brisket needs the right wood. Rudy smokes all their meats using their delicious signature rubs in 100% oak-fired pits. Get your real Texas barbecue fix today at Rudy's or on the web at rudys.com.
All right, Lucy Landherr,
Thank
ladies and
you.
gentlemen, you did it. Congratulations.
Thank you for having me.
All righty. So I don't know how long we've been doing that, but that's like a bazillion in a row where we've had players do it well.
Just kind of shows how the intelligence of, and that these are actually student athletes.
That's that, and that they want to eat barbecue.
And that, and they're smart. Exactly.
Exactly. All right, we are joined up here by Gerald Pena, also known by the players, gave him the name G-Money, and who's strength and conditioning coach for Texas A&M soccer. And this is a year-round deal. I mean, and Gerald, I wanted to ask you, you know, you've got the spring, and then you've got the summer when the players leave for a month and a half, and then you get them back and you're in preseason, and now you're in during the season itself. So in terms of your role and your job, if you will, does that change depending upon what time of the year it is?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of it, too, is predicated on how often they're playing. So if we're in season, you got to plan for kind of the bumps and bruises that we take game to game. If we're off season, we have less of that. We play less games. So, and then the summertime, depending on where they're at, they'll be playing with the team over the summer, and then that's kind of our window to put on as much muscle, gain as much fitness, whatever it is to prepare us for the season in the fall.
So how did you get into this and have it decide this is what I want to do for a career?
I started my first internship at the University of Kansas. I'm from Kansas City. That's where I did my undergrad, and I did an internship there with KU football. Our first session was 5 a.m. It was loud, rowdy, and we were moving a lot of weight, and I fell in love with it. So that's basically how I ended up starting out with the career.
So you were a weightlifter, right?
Yes, sir.
You
Still is.
Yeah,
He's still competitive.
Yes,
still,
sir.
Still compete?
Yes, sir. I've been competing now almost 7 years. Now it's a little bit harder with season. We travel a lot, and I like to be there for the team. So I wait for national meets don't come around too often. So the next competition there will be in March, so not for a while. Wow.
And so just talk about that. I mean, how do you do both of those? Because your first priority, obviously, is your job and what you get paid to do. And so you've got to squeeze this in, right? And,
for sure.
And does that, what you do when you're on personal training, does that translate over into your job in terms of what you're trying to get players to do?
Yeah, I mean, we all got the same 24 hours. So luckily for me, I work in a weight room, so I'm able to complete anything that's personal as far as that training goes within a window. But I think the team and my other group as well, they see a lot of buy-in from seeing me working hard in the weight room. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but if they see their coach practicing what they preach, you know, they buy in a little bit better.
What's the most important thing that a soccer player can do from a strength and conditioning perspective?
That's a loaded question. I mean, they can for sure just be consistent. So thankfully, being collaborative with coaching staff and the other support staff, being able to lift twice a week is huge in terms of consistency and getting our frequency into the weight room. Not a lot of teams are doing that, and I think that's what's helped us a lot this year is stay healthier. We do have, like I said, bumps and bruises, but we're able to recover from that pretty quickly.
Well, why don't you maybe kind of expand a little bit on, you talk about obviously the way that we work together, but you know, Eddie Williams, who's our sports scientist, who is out and he's got his people out there as well who are monitoring the players on the field, but also, you know, you guys keep track of everything, and there's a lot of science that goes into it. Why don't you talk a little bit about, because, you know, our players aren't just, you know, meatheads who are just in there, you know, pumping iron. There's a reason for it. And I think, David, I'll answer the question from my standpoint of what is it for a female soccer player is most of the time when these players are coming into college, they haven't really done any lifting. Would you agree? Now, there'll be a handful, and there'll be a few that come from places where they've done some. So there are usually some real strength deficiencies. And the last thing that we want is to have weak muscles in a game that moves so fast. And you look at all the injuries that happen in our sport, anything that we can do to minimize those. So, a big part of what we've also talked about was adding to our cardiovascular fitness. That was one of the things that we, as the soccer coaches, thought that really could be improved, and you've done a good job of that. So talk a little bit about the science of it, but also a little bit about, how you've balanced both the strength but also the conditioning.
Yeah, so our goal, like G said, was fitness. So that's kind of what we attacked at the beginning of the summer, or I guess the beginning and the end of the summer before our camp started. So that took kind of precedence. The weight room wise, like G mentioned too, you got to assume that everyone's brand new. And so when you do that, you start real small and you work your way up. So building the strength, you got to do it for a long time to get good at it. And we were able to do that as long as, as far as collaborating with Eddie, our sports scientist, he's done an awesome job just keeping us all updated on kind of where they're at in terms of how hard they're working, how much distance they're covering, how fast they're running. All of that is tracked, and we're able to either add to it or take away from it from a extra fitness standpoint or a weight room standpoint.
One of the things that G and I talked about, he mentioned this to me one time, and it's not something I hadn't really even thought about, but particularly for soccer players who have not been in a strength and conditioning program in high school, for example, up to that point, and then they get to college. One of the things that often happens is that they're stronger in their dominant side, and because they've never really consciously worked on anything. Is that something that you find where you have to really work on their non-dominant side to get them kind of more where their strength is a little bit more balanced?
Yeah, it's interesting. You'll find a lot of asymmetries in sports like this, or honestly basketball, you name it, like team sports for sure. You'll find asymmetries, but it's not always a bad thing. It makes them the player that they are. But yeah, absolutely, getting that other side stronger and more conditioned is important, so we attack that too.
So you travel with the team because you want to be able to monitor these athletes, and what are you trying to get them to do during the season, during the course of a week, for example? Just pick this week. It's a week with 2 games. I mean, Thursday here, tomorrow night rather, and then the Aggies going to get on a bus on Saturday and go up to Norman to play on a Sunday afternoon. What's that week like? What's your role in that week?
Yeah, so our first day, like I mentioned earlier, we lift twice a week. So our first day will be furthest away up from game. So that's -3. -3. So in that day, we'll hit it harder. We'll attack the weights a little bit harder, but that's all relative to the players. A lot of it too is just correctives. So what is it that they're not getting at practice in the games, and who is it that's not playing very much or can't play very much? Can we add to them so that they're ready and there's no gaps between people who are playing a lot and not playing a lot?
Yeah, because you've got some player who may not have played in the game, and you got somebody else who has played 90 minutes and run 7 miles, and so it's got to be custom fit to that player, right?
Absolutely, and that's how it is that first day, and then the next day is post-match, or a day after a match, and that one's a lot more correctives, maybe more mobility. I'll do kind of a meat and potatoes lift. So what is my biggest bang for my buck in the 30 minutes, 40 minutes that we get in the weight room? So
one last question before we go to break, but players have different demands on their body to some degree depending upon what position they play. Do you have specific programs for different people who play different positions on the field?
In season, it's doesn't seem the most time efficient as far as keepers and field players. Yes, even in the summer leading up to the season, that was very specific for keepers and then people who were field players. But while we're in season, it's as far as time efficiency, we all do the same program. And then in the spring, it might get a little more granular, so I might be a little more specific. When it comes to fitness, though, that's kind of where we try to make it a little different.
Yeah, but just because positional groups are going to do, Lucy up here who plays as a wide player, she might run, she might do a 70-yard sprint and then turn and have to run 70 yards back. There's no timeout to get her, air as she needs it. Same thing with Kat in the middle of the park. She's going to do multiple up backs, and across the field as well. So, but that's different than our goalkeepers. Our goalkeepers' maximum run, hopefully, is about 7 yards, but it's all explosive, and you've got to have the durability and everything else. So it's interesting. I find it the more you learn about it, the more you don't know. And what you talk about the balances, and really, David, it's not so much sometimes left or right. It's quads or hamstrings, and a lot of that comes down to the way that men break, decelerate, the way women decelerate, the way that men land, the way that women land, and trying to get them to understand how to use their body efficiently without hurting it. And that's a big thing that G does as well. He does a lot of great just education with them, and his enthusiasm. Honestly, his enthusiasm is his knowledge is fantastic, but if knowledge without enthusiasm doesn't sell, and he's sold the program. The girls are all in. It's really neat to see the back and forth that goes on with he and the people who work with him and under him, but also with the players and how they take it.
Yep. Well, G, appreciate it very much. This G, that's right. G Money, appreciate you taking time to come by and visit with us tonight. Enjoyed it very much. Learned a lot. And there, like I say, there's so much that goes into this off the field that ultimately shows up on the field. And Joe Pena is one of those guys who has a lot to do with that. All right, we're going to take another quick break, and we'll be right back right after this. You're listening to the Aggie Soccer Hour. All righty, we are back here at Rudy's Barbecue on Harvey Road. It's the Aggie Soccer Hour with Texas A&M head coach G Guerrieri. I'm David Ellis, and I want to thank everybody who's come out tonight, and those listening on the radio. We appreciate it. Hope you show up tomorrow night, 7 o'clock at Ellis Field. The Aggies and the University of Texas Longhorns will be in town, and that's a huge game. Obviously, we've talked about both of the Aggies games this weekend, and Texas on tomorrow night, and then Sunday afternoon against Oklahoma. But there's some other big games.
There really
in the
are.
SEC this coming weekend. The first one that comes to mind is Arkansas
right
and
before
South
us.
Carolina. Yeah, that's Arkansas is ranked number 7, South Carolina ranked number 10, and those are two teams with really interesting styles when they play each other.
Well, they are, because Arkansas has always been so direct in going at you, and they've been all about just putting a lot of pressure on your defense. And South Carolina is all about the defense and countering. And now South Carolina's got a kid up front that could really harm the way that Arkansas plays. With Collins has got next level speed. She's really special attacker. So that'll be really interesting. I'm trying to see, where is that game? Is that game in South Carolina? Yeah, it's at South Carolina.
Yeah.
So it should be a pretty good crowd. They're leading the nation right now in attendance. South Carolina is. So that's a tasty one. I think obviously you've got Ole Miss and Mississippi State, right on the same night that A&M is playing Texas. But the other one that I find to be kind of cool is Georgia and Tennessee, because you've got Georgia, who's not ranked quite as high. They're number 17. Tennessee, who's number 2 in the RPI right now. The game is at Tennessee, but Georgia, when we played them, Georgia had performance. Well, it was their best performance of the season, of course, when they played us, naturally. But that's a really interesting mix, because there's a lot of great athletes on the field with both those teams. Tennessee. I think we snuck up on Tennessee. Tennessee wasn't expecting to have to fight for their lives against the Aggies this time around. But Georgia comes to town. That's going to be a 1-goal game one way or the other. And I could easily see Georgia, knock them off. We'll see.
This is not to disparage anybody else on our schedule, but for my money, Georgia is, on the night that we played them, was the best team we played all year long.
Followed by maybe Auburn, who's also not ranked right now, but coming off of a great result about a week ago when they tied Mississippi State. But there's just so many good teams in the league right now. There's so many teams that are stacked, and that there's no, I'd like to say there's no bottom to the league, because really you look at ourselves, who haven't won a game in the league this year, and gave the top two teams everything that they could handle and scare their lives. So Sunday are also some really interesting games, in addition obviously to our game at Oklahoma at 2:00. Again, South Carolina, but now they go on the road to Auburn, just so we're talking about. And
right.
You play a really physical game against Arkansas. They have our run. They're doing the exact same thing as we have. They're going to kind of the flip of them, where we played Auburn first and then Arkansas. But Arkansas is such a physical test that now then to go into southern Alabama to play against Auburn on the biggest field in the conference, that's a real gut check for those guys. The other game though is Arkansas's other game, and that's against number 13 Mississippi State. And Mississippi State, I think, is last year was the dream season. Everything that could possibly fall in their way, it fell. It was everything fell perfectly for them. I think they scored. This is not an exaggeration. I think they scored at least 11 goals off of the crossbar by hitting the crossbar and going in.
Right.
For us, we hit the crossbar. It goes into traffic behind us, and they still have some of their second level shooters, but they're a team that they beat Texas 3-0 in Austin last week. They're a team that has played everyone really, really tough. So that's a game. And you have Mississippi State, Georgia, and Arkansas all right at the top of the standings with South Carolina. All of them are undefeated. So it'll mix things up there at the top for sure.
Yeah, and there's plenty of room for Texas A&M to when you start talking about RPI. I mean, we're ranked. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams in the SEC below Texas A&M in terms of RPI. Yep. So the Aggies, have got opportunities in front of them, but we got to start converting on those opportunities.
Right.
So.
The best way to help your RPI is win.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
And the best way to win is score some goals. And I feel pretty good about what we got going on this week.
All right, we're going to take another quick break, our last one of the show, and then we're going to come back and talk real quickly about University of Texas and the University of Oklahoma. This is the Aggie Soccer Hour. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back right after this. All righty, it's a sprint to the finish here, the Aggie Soccer Hour. Texas A&M head coach G Guerrieri. I'm David Ellis, and big game coming up for Texas A&M tomorrow night at 7 o'clock at Ellis Field. It is the Aggies and the Longhorns from the University of Texas. Again, that's 7 o'clock,
which actually is great that it's a doubleheader on television tomorrow night, and so we are the nightcap. Which is great, because oftentimes the Thursday night TV games on the SEC network are at 6 o'clock Central Time, which is frankly a really lousy time to try to get around West Campus at Texas A&M. 7 o'clock, and that's one of the reasons why we went to 7:30 games. But 7 o'clock works out just fine, and it should be no excuses for people. It's a great opportunity. It's the first match in the Lone Star Showdown amongst all of our sports between the two schools. So really, really, really need that 12th man out there, and need as many Aggies, as much maroon in the crowd as we can.
Absolutely, and we grateful for Cotton Holdings and the sponsorship of the Lone Star Showdown across all sports. Want you to talk a little bit about two very dynamic players that the University of Texas has. One of them is Amalia Villarreal with 6 goals and 2 assists, and the other Ava McDonald with 6 goals and 1 assist. And of their 17 goals on the season, 12 of them come from those two players.
Right, those two are really special. They, Ava with a like next level speed, great change of pace, but as much as anything, like I said, she's got 6 goals. I mean, she puts a very high percentage of her shots on frame, and has a chance. And because she's faster than the people around her, she can get on the end of rebounds and score on second chances too. So, and she and Amalia work really well together. There's a lot of good combinations with them. So, how we defend, how we put pressure on the ball, how we can play 1v1 defense and group defending in this game is paramount because those two are so stinking dangerous.
Well, and you look at the results this year for Texas A&M. The defense is one thing you really can't have any complaints about. They have played extremely well so far this season.
No, and against the last, like I said, the last 3 games we've played some of the most dynamic attacking players in America. And this past game at Tennessee with Robinson, who's such an important part of Tennessee's success this season. It's been really great to see how Tim Strader and the defense have really been able to shut people off.
Yeah, it is, and for Texas A&M, if I can find it here, nope. Of course, I'm not going to find it because I'm looking for it. But in terms of Robinson for the University of Tennessee, the Aggies really just pretty much shut her down.
Yeah, I don't know that she got more than one shot up on the night, and I can tell you she's a handful. Long, lean body, lots of pace, lots of goals, and was really pleased for the way the players played against her.
So yeah, as to be specific about it, she had 0 shots.
Oh, there you go. That's a good way to shut them out.
Yeah, exactly. And then we travel up to
OU.
To OU on Sunday afternoon, 2 o'clock.
OU coached by Matt Mott. Matt was for a long time was the head coach at Ole Miss. Did a wonderful job there. I mean, I think Ole Miss always overachieved with Matt in charge, and he's starting to do this. He's turned that program into that type of place as well. They're very athletic. I wouldn't say that they're necessarily Arkansas light, but they do get the ball forward quickly, and they've got big strong athletes that can cause problems. They're going to be playing in front of their crowd. It's a football weekend up in Norman, so we're expecting an incredibly tough night.
It should be. All right, I want to remind you once again, 7 o'clock tomorrow night at Ellis Field. It's going to be on the SEC Network. Jeff Given and I will have the radio broadcast pregame starts at 6:45 on Willie 1550 or on your TexAgs, your 12th Man mobile app. I'll get it here. Your 12th Man mobile app, and then 2 o'clock on Sunday afternoon against Oklahoma. That game will be on SEC Plus Network. You'll be able to watch it there. Turn them down and listen to Thomas Dick and I. Will have the broadcast there again on Willie 1550. Pre-game show starts at 1:45 against the Oklahoma Sooners. So, again, 2 big games coming up. Let's come out with 2 big wins. Want to thank everybody, Coach G and our guests, our players, as well as Gerald Pena for stopping by.
And everyone who came out as well.
Absolutely. We appreciate it. That's going to do it for us. We're out of here. Gig 'em.